Hey guys, long time no see. I'm sorry I've been out of action for a while because I had a pretty bad allergic reaction the last week and I just couldn't wear any makeup for a few days. My skin was kind of chapped and very sore and peeling. I was getting red spots, sensitive eczema spots around my face. I'm still recovering a little bit on this side of my face, so you'll get to see a little bit of that later when I apply the foundations. But anyway, I just wanted to compare these two products today, and these are the Super BB line from Maybelline, and I believe they are an Asia exclusive. I've not seen this review too much outside of Asia, and like very traditional BB creams, these come in two shades. There's just a light 01 and 02 medium, which I'm testing today, and I'm NC 20. So if you happen to be NC 30 and higher, you wouldn't be able to find a shade in either of these formulations, at least not in Singapore. I'm not sure if they have more shades in places like Thailand or the Philippines. I know sometimes some of the drugstore brands will have wider ranges of shades in those markets. The reason I was interested in testing this out is because I always remember that the original Super BB from Maybelline had a really nice formula. The best thing about it at that point was that most of the Korean BB creams were either very ashy and grey or slightly too pink to look natural in the skin, and these came in very nice ochre natural skin tones basically. So even though there were only two shades, they set very nicely on the skin. They didn't try to make you look like some shade that you were not. So that was one of the reasons that I picked up a tube, and I really remember enjoying it. So given that I've been a fan of this for a while, I was surprised that I missed the launch of the Ultra Cover version. So this has SPF 50 PA4+, same as the original formula, but it's meant to give you even more coverage. And we're gonna test that out, and we'll see if this really does deliver on those claims. Now here are the claims for the original BB Super Cover. This has SPF 50 PA4+. It's supposed to give you a bare skin look with super coverage. It's supposed to be an advanced BB with 8-in-1 benefits, high coverage but refined and flawless bare skin look. Now the original Super BB has medium-high coverage, exactly as I remember it, and it has a nice demi-matte, pretty lightweight and textureless finish to it as well. And this was what impressed me about it the first time that I tried it a few years ago. The coverage level was just amazing. So I'm gonna go in with the Super BB Ultra Cover on this side, and we'll see if there's a difference in coverage level between here and there. I also do want to point out that I do happen to have a little bit more to cover on this side of my face. I did get a few eczema spots on my face, which are a little bit red and raw, and they're going down now, but they still need quite a bit of covering. And this is supposed to be an upgraded, higher coverage version of the original Super BB. This is supposed to cover 10 flaws in one swipe. Obviously on the back of this tube, they do not list what those 10 flaws are. I'm assuming it would be the same stuff, just covering blemishes, covering your pores and all that. It's also got the same SPF 50 PA4+ to protect you from UV rays, and it promises to blend evenly and smoothly. to be perfectly honest, the coverage level for both formulas looks about exactly the same to me. In fact, I had to do a little bit more building up of the Super BB Ultra Cover because it just didn't look quite as even on the skin surface as the original Super BB did on this side. Of course, I do need to point out that I have a little bit more flakiness and patchiness on the skin on this side of my face because of the peeling and the sensitivity I experienced, and I'm still recovering from. So it might have been a better idea to test the original Super BB on this side because at least right now it feels like this formula is slightly more smoothing. Now they both have a demi-matte, sort of a luminous finish on the skin. It's very skin-like. That's one of the things that I really like about the formula. It's quite typical of Asian formulated BB creams, and these are made in Asia. This one feels slightly more matte in terms of the texture and the feel as you're applying it, but finish-wise, it looks about the same as the original Super BB. First impressions-wise, for my slightly dry skin, I prefer the original Super BB. I feel this one is just a little bit more smoothing. It smooths on a little bit easier, it blends a little bit easier, and this one took a little bit more effort to even out. It tended to grab in uneven or dry areas a little bit more. Of course, this is just the application. I'm gonna have to wear both of these out for a whole day, and then I'm gonna check in and let you guys see how it goes. Alright, we are done. I'm about ready to go out now. I just applied mostly powder products on the rest of my face so I wouldn't change the formula or texture of the BB creams too much. I have powder contour on, powder blush, powder highlight as well. It looks kind of creamy because I used Becca's Opal, an old favorite which I haven't used for a very long time. My usual favorite these days is the Sephora Glow Stick, which is a sort of dewy, balmy, kind of a wet look highlight stick, but that will change the lasting power and the finish of the foundation underneath, so I didn't want to do that, and I just swiped on a little bit of Opal. So far both sides of the BB are looking pretty good. I still prefer the original formula. On this side it just looks a little bit smoother. It's sitting a little bit nicer on the skin, whereas for the Ultra Cover one, yeah, I'm just not loving the way that it sits on some of my drier or more problematic areas or around the pores. So that's just my personal take on it so far, and I will check in again with you guys in a few hours time. Ciao! It is now 7:55. It is the end of the day. I just came back from an event, from dinner and everything, and I've been wearing the BB cream. Well, not for the longest day ever, but let me think, for about 8 hours at this point. I have not blotted at all, so you can obviously see a ton of shine. I've been sweating, but it hasn't been an extremely warm day. It got a little bit rainy in mid-afternoon, so it was a little bit more cooling. As usual, I'm going to be blotting both sides of my face just to see if there's any difference in the oil control properties. I doubt it. Most of the time it's just how good it looks after the oil comes out. Now for blotting tests, I tend to use these rubbery Johnson & Johnson oil control films. On a daily basis, when I'm out, I'm more likely to use paper blotting sheets because these rubbery blotting sheets pull too much moisture and oil out of your skin, and over time it can make oily skins even oilier. So I'm not sure how true that is, but it's not too big a deal for me to just swap to paper blotters on a daily basis. So that's what I bring out. But I use these for foundation reviews because it's just much easier to see the oil that's extracted. About the same. I will say though that on closer look, this side is sitting much nicer. It's still sitting nicer after about 8 hours of wear, and my pores are a little bit less visible. It's less patchy under my eyes, around my dry zones. The one place where both of these broke down a little bit would be, around my upper lip area where I've been sweating a bit. and it does seem like these stay more or less okay with a little bit of sebum production, but if you're sweating up a storm, this starts to get a little bit patchy on both sides, both formulas. I still do not like how this is sitting around my more textured areas, so around the pores, flaky bits and everything, whereas this side with the original formula, it's looking perfect, very perfect. So what can I say? I mean, this sounded really promising, but I guess, you know, if this was already good, there wasn't too much of a reason to fix it, and they launched this but they didn't replace this. This is still available, so I guess this must have its fans still, and there is a good reason for that. As for this, I don't really see a point because it doesn't have more coverage than this. It doesn't have more sun protection than the original formula. At least for normal to dry skin, it's not sitting nicer. Even on my oily zones, it's not sitting nicer. So I can't really give a single reason why you would pick this over the original. So far, neither of these has oxidized. The color has stayed pretty true for the entire day. But just in terms of general performance, I feel this one, it was already great to begin with. I'm not sure why they needed to try and, you know, upgrade it and create a new one. Anyone who would want to try this would need to check if it had fuller coverage, and it doesn't. So in any case, I hope this was helpful for those of you in Asia who are maybe considering between some of the drugstore BB cream options. If you have a different experience, obviously, please share that with me, because, you know, I only have this skin to try things on, and in my experience, whether it was on the oily zone, dry zone, textured zones, this just far outperformed the new Ultra Cover formula. With that said, I hope you guys have a great rest of the week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!